إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به عز وجل نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We offer this translation. All praise belongs to Allah. He is the guardian evolver, the cherisher and sustainer of all the systems of knowledge. We seek Him for assistance and we ask for His forgiveness. And we put our trust in Him, He that is almighty and sublime. We witness that there is no deity, no God, nothing worthy of worship except Allah, one alone, with no partners with Him, and we witness that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger. The prayers and peace be upon him and upon his family and companions, all of them, and what follows of that excellent salutation. Family is the true nature of society. A family is an institution. A family is an organization. The whole society has been built upon the institution we call family. The family is the mother of all other units of society. Family mothered all other units. When the family is divided, the father has no authority, has no voice in the house. The mother has no authority or no voice in the house. That is when the family is divided. The children in the family are all separated and the family is disunited. Our sources of our religion, we have the Quran and we also have the Hadith, which are some of the sayings of the Prophet. And we have a Hadith where the angel Jibreel was shown the world, was shown, and then when we say the world, we think of the four heads. It says in the four birds on the mountain: education, government, religion, and social as well. So when we said the angel was shown the world, imagine he was shown this society, and he was shown the school systems. He was shown the government, that is, those features that manage human relationships. He was shown various religions, which we consider the root for our faith. He was shown social, which are the human relationships as well. The government is managing human life, And then he was shown the world, And he said, his comment was to Allah, how can anyone go wrong? Then he was shown the world after the influence of Shaitan and how we're influenced through all the medias, the influence of Satan, the influence of the devil. And he responded, and we're saying to you now, we're living in this time, how can anyone go right? The public life is in hell. The public scene is wild. It doesn't leave any chance for you to think of an authority to govern your life, but yourself. This community has, in one of its roots, the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam said, what is the duty of a civilized person? To teach the uncivilized people who are savage, civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of self, the science of everything in life, love, peace, and happiness. Again, in the dictionary it says savage is a result of respecting no authority over your life, also meaning uncultivated. Once a pope, one of the popes, said, Americans, we are living in a culture of death. In our culture, we find more pornographic materials, more immoral freaks, more rape, more adultery, more lying, more stealing, more ethnic hatred. Now clearly identified as says systematic racism. And now, even now, they're saying Black Lives Matter. Our society breeds enmity between male and female, between children and parents, between nation and nation, as well as between humanity and nature. Satan's scheme to break up the family is a scheme that all other schemes can be seen under, or this one scheme can reveal all other schemes. Satan's scheme to break up that which should be together, to divide that which should be united, to separate that which should be together. If Satan doesn't break up the family, then there is authority in the life of the people. Allah created those things that belong together, to be together and to be brought together if they're not together, and to stay together, like husband, wife, and family. In the book by who we consider Masjid, Imam W. Muhammad, meaning renewal of the religion, giving us more understanding of the religion, of this way of life, he calls it, he says, life, the final battlefield. So that is what many of us are involved in. Life, the final battlefield. Also in the Quran, the first revelation, Surah 96, just ayat 1. Iqra, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read, Iqra, read, in the name of your God and evolver, cherisher, and sustainer, who created. Now what does that mean? What is one way to apply? It means to apply the meaning of the Creator to the signs. Anything you hear, see, taste, touch, or smell, we say to maintain human life, then you have to get how the Creator intended that which you're hearing, smelling, tasting, smelling, etc. And from that you will get the natural meaning of man, woman, husband, wife, family. In fact, the Nation of Islam, in fact, they have a book out. It was called You Are What You Eat. And of course, there's a magazine supports that called Reader's Digest. Digest is usually associated with the digestive system with eating. But it's saying what you consume through those five senses, that's what you are. Islam is a religion. It is a way of ordering your life that is in accord with the natural life of people. Simplicity is highlighted throughout our religion, our way of life. When we understand the simple rules of nature, we see that Islam is not complicated. Islam is to be expressed in community life. Religious expression requires a social context, which was mentioned again in one of our books on prayer and al-Islam by Imam W. Muhammad. In the Quran, Surah 2, ayat 177, it says, Laysa birra an tuwallu wujuhakum kibal al misri ki wal maghribi. So it's saying it is not righteousness. Laysa, birra, another word for righteousness. It is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards east, Masjid, or wal maghribi, or west. But it is righteousness to believe in Allah and the last day and the angels and the book and the messengers. To spend of your substance out of love for Him, for your kin, for orphans, for the wayfarer, for those who ask, to be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity. You find in the Quran, most of the time it mentions prayer, salat. It also mentions zakat. What are rituals? Rituals are acts that we do. I'll just mention a few. Before we make salat, we should have made sure we made wudu. That is, we are washing our hands. We have a certain number, 3 times, right and the left, and we rinse out our mouth and we wash our face. We also heard before we began the khutbah, the adhan, a ritual. We also have a ritual in salat. It is called salat, and one of the key factors is called sajda, which is prostration. And so where we could gather in the masjid, one of the most important positions, it says, is the sajda. That's why it's called masjid, a place where we make sajda. Sajda, prostration, or putting our forehead on the ground. And we also have salat, at least 5 times a day, turning our face east or west, depending on where you are in the earth in terms of relationship to the Kaaba. So the point I'm making here on this, every time we talk about families, rituals don't mean you're righteous. Rituals are signs, S-I-G-N, signs of something greater. All humans should be scientists. We know we go to school, S-C-I-E-N-T-I-S-T, but that usually refers to knowledge that was received after you applied the S-I-G-N. And so when it says Iqra, Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq, so it is saying that we should read the signs the way the creator of whatever we're involved in created it. So we all are scientists. And bringing it up to the day, where we are today, some 1,442 years from our prophet receiving the revelation, we're now saying in this day and time, we say 2020 AD, or in the Christian calendar, but in the lunar calendar is 1,442, based on the movement of the moon as it revolves around the earth. And then, of course, the earth still goes around the sun in an elliptical orbit, like an egg. So it's saying that the scientists, S-I-G-N, the scientists must guide humanity, not the politicians. It says the scientists must guide humanity, and it's saying, of course, I could say that through this global epidemic, this global pandemic. And this is how we should be in life, not the politicians, but the scientists, and we all are scientists. As babies, we come here helpless and weak. We have to struggle and depend upon someone else to take care of us for months and for years. A baby is born from its mother and its father, and it cannot do anything. So I'm saying that happened to me. You who listen to me, you had to go through that same transition, all of us. It says here, a baby is born from its mother and its father, and it cannot do anything but lie around and cry for its mother or someone else to put a bottle or the nipple of a breast in its mouth or change its diaper. For about 2 years, the baby depends completely upon someone else to bring its water, milk, and food. Someone else must remove the filth from the baby. Allah is Ar-Rahman, and we find this is repeated. We have 114 surahs, and repeated in front of all of them except 9. Some scholars say because of the contact, but it's repeated twice in Al-Fatiha, Surah 1 of the Quran. Allah is Ar-Rahman. the merciful benefactor, like the work of a father, because the father likes to see his child with strong virtues. He likes to see it grow in an image that will be a complement and an asset to him. This is the father. Ar-Rahman is to bring about a divine creation in the moral nature of the man. His righteousness, high principles of conduct, excellence of character, and the dignified mind that lifts the man above petty, unclean, and ignorant things. The father will risk losing the closeness of the child for the sake of having it come into the natural form. It is just natural for a man to work to preserve his child because he knows he lives through that child. It is just natural for a man to work to preserve his child because he knows he lives through that child. Benefactor signifies the more of a masculine attribute because it implies giving freely and disregarding selfish motives. Allah is also Ar-Rahim, the merciful benefactor, signifies grace, mercy, and compassion. While grace implies the giving of benefits, compassion implies having sympathy or coming to the aid of something that needs aid. The root of the word Rahim means the wombs of the female, Arham. Life begins in the wombs of the female. In the creation of life, the divine extends compassion and mercy so that its beings won't suffer. This compassion and mercy is extended before the being even recognizes that there is a need for someone to aid it. While the being is growing and being fashioned in the womb, it is protected and kept safe in the water of the womb. Even though harsh blows may come against the womb, the water safely absorbs them and maintains a comfortable resting place for the developing life. Ar-Rahim embodies such compassion that the suffering, pain, and terror that the life form undergoes in the cramped confinement of the womb is completely blotted from its memory, and it steps boldly out into the new life without any memory of its birth pain. Remember, every living thing from the womb grows. Remember, every living thing grows to stand over the womb as the preserver, protector, and nourisher of the womb. Allah is a benefactor, a giver of graces like the man, the father. And Allah is also the greatest bestower of mercy and compassion like the female, the mother. Allah is not male, Allah is not female, but it is the source of excellence of the male and the female and the originator of everything. To walk around like he came here all by himself, just a few seasons ago, if someone had walked away from him, he would have died. But now all of a sudden he is a know-it-all. All of a sudden he does not want anybody to tell him anything. He wants to be his own boss. Brothers and sisters, that kind of attitude is what destroys us and robs us of the opportunity to grow as human beings. This is why so many men and women come up in the world, and when their parents finish raising them, that is the end of their growth. They do not grow anymore as a mental, a moral, or a spiritual being. Again, as we live as Muslims, it says that the gates of hell are closed during Ramadan. This is not Ramadan now, we know it's the 9th month, but it happens every year, the 9th month. It says in the Quran that the 7 gates of hell, the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, and the 1 mouth, all in the head where the reading takes place. So the gates of hell are now open. But look, we achieve Eid al-Fitr, the renewal of life. Fitra, natural. So life is a gift. Life is a loan. Life is a mercy from the creator of human life. we believers, we Muslims, now as a result of Eid al-Fitr, we read during Ramadan, and then the first day, Shawwal, the next month, we see that it is a gift, it is a loan, it is a mercy from the creator of human life. We Muslims, we believers, have a new understanding, a better understanding, a purified understanding of life. Our community, our families must establish an alternative culture. Alhamdulillah. Again, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Man and woman are brought together because there is a need to build up the human society. Man and woman are brought together because there's a need to build up the human society. When a man grows up and gets the desire, which is natural, for a woman, he marries the woman and has children. He must grow as his community or as his family grows. This community of two, man and wife, must evolve from back when they were a single teenager community of one. When the man and woman have children, they must grow into another dimension and not operate like boyfriend and girlfriend. This growth into family is dictated by nature. They're brought together first by physical attraction, so that physical bond will obligate them and make them move up to a little higher. When a man falls in love with a woman and begins to need her physical company, he must also grow to accept the extra responsibility that comes along with her. Our culture delivers a warped teaching of love. If you look around, you can see many people who have been wasted by a misunderstanding of love. They think that love means to give your sympathy out to everything and everybody. They do not see anybody as bad or wrong. They see everybody as good and right. That is not love, that is insanity. Love without knowledge is nothing. Love without knowledge is nothing. Real love is the strength to make the person you love unhappy if you know it means that it is for the good or the betterment of the person. You cannot love me if you fear to tell me what is wrong with me. You cannot love me if you want to keep a happy relationship with me while seeing me go down. Love is a result of sacrifice, commitment, trials, tests, and struggles. The now husband, and you know the role of the husband, you get a hint in using the word husband, which is considered a tiller of the sword. So he has responsibility. He has to go out and struggle to guarantee the survival of himself and the woman he has taken as his wife. In doing this, he is going to become more productive because he now has a greater motivation. Being motivated by nothing but his own appetite, he can only do so much because he only has a desire to do so much. Once he has a wife that he loves as much as he loves himself, he has a stronger motivating power. This motivating power will increase the worth of the man, and it will make him a greater producer. When he gets children from the union with his wife, he develops even more motivation. He then has a wife, and power will increase the worth of the man, and it will make him a greater producer. When he gets children from the union with his wife, he develops even more motivation. He then has a wife and children that he loves as much as he loves himself. These things are pushing him because he loves them and because he wants to feed them as he wants to feed himself. He is then forced to be even a greater producer of wealth and of the things that society must have. That is, food, clothing, and shelter. Now we have to add flat screens, iPhones, Michael Jordan tennis shoes. All family members want to have cars, businesses, computers. The union of man and woman as husband and wife is moving the man up to be a greater provider. The more the burden of production is on him, the greater the demand becomes for his mind to grow. Allah forces the man to grow mentally, morally, and spiritually by tying him physically to other flesh that he loves as he loves his own flesh. This is the source of the creation of McDonald's, IHOP, Wendy's, Burger King, Popeyes, Olive Garden, and families are what keep their doors open in America and all over the world. You'll see them, and we'll also see some halal fast food establishments. As we conclude, let us return to living and thinking as a family, not as individuals. Each one of us is struggling to get a house or struggling to get a car. But how many of us are struggling to put money in the banks, struggling to get some real estate or some capital, or struggling to build some institutions? This world gives us the mind that makes us think that we do not need each other, and that every man and every woman is an individual. When people come here looking for freedom, they come knowing that although the opportunity is here, this is a highly competitive society. They know that the only way to survive is by working together as a family. Again, I repeat, the Nation of Islam says, no big I's and no little U's. And we know that when our former presidents, John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country, we could say, ask not what your community can do for you, but what skill, what energy, what talent can you do for your community? We're going to have to work together and look out for each other. Meanwhile, let us be good students, good housekeepers, good parents, good husbands and wives, good fathers and mothers, good providers, and excellent believers. And by all means, let us wear our masks, maintain social distancing, register to vote, complete our census, purchase Muslim Journal, pay our zakat, keep up our solats, and check on our community members. Akim as-salat.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah. Qad qamatis salat, qad qamatis salat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Allahu Akbar. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.